public comment about anything?
Comment about anything you wish.
Okay, I got a couple of them, if you don't mind. I want to know what the... Yep. I'm Susan Taylor. Well, good grief. I want to know what the school's policy on trying to help against bullying, and what is the procedures and protocols when kids are being bullied, hit, or anything else like that, because it's been going on bad this year and a lot towards my kids and other people's kids and other parents' kids, and there are times where kids are getting hit and bullied and name called and et cetera, and the parents ain't even being notified. But I know that you guys know about it because my kids come home with Band-Aids on it, or my kids are telling me, and I feel like that's something that an adult should call another adult about, not having to hear it through a child. So I just want to know what the protocols are on trying to be an anti-bullying school.
About 2 years ago, we adopted a process that if there's an incident in school, there is an investigation that started. That all gets reported through the teacher to the principal, and the principal that is required to investigate and communicate the results of his investigation back to the parents and also back to the offending parents. Right?
Okay.
So there is a process. We established that in the handbook, I think. That's in the handbook now. And all the forms that are associated with that there's a complete system, because we had this same thing going on with cell phone use. We had teacher or parents describing that some kids were allowed to use cell phones, some kids weren't, and so we devised this process to report that to the principal. He would do the investigation and correct those issues. So that if you want a copy of the handbook, I'm sure it's
yeah.
It's a process now.
But my thing is, if with name calling, I understand, whatever, that's still bad enough. But when a child is hit, pushed, or shoved, I feel like as a parent myself, and it happening to my child, I want to know at least what's going on. Even a simple note in their book bag to come home with.
I want you to know that too. So your child has to report that to their teacher and to the principal. And there is a process for investigating and communicating.
And I understand that, but as a parent, it's really frustrating to have to hear things come from my children's mouth and not knowing the full truth of what had happened, or wondering if
administrators don't even know what's going on. They have to report it before we can do anything about it.
Oh, I know my daughter has specifically told some of the teachers at some point of the stuff that has been happening.
Have you called it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So is there investigations happening on these things, or?
Yes. I mean, it's a part of a bigger issue that we're actively working on fixing. It's teachers get told some things and they don't always. I don't know if that answers your question or not. No. There's no investigation because
that's something I would want, because, I mean, I don't have my daughter come to school to be taught profanity words towards her, or her fearing of her going to school just because, and I quote from adults, kids can be kids and they say the most darndest things. I know, I have 3 of them, but some of the things that have been said should never be said in a school, and some of the things that are being done, the parents should know about it right away. Like my daughter being grabbed by her arms and shoved up against the gym wall, which is like cement, cinder blocks, whatever it is. I feel like that, at that moment, I should have been called that day after school was over. You guys are not that big of a school. So I feel like there shouldn't be no reason why us parents shouldn't be getting calls. At least when stuff like that happens. I have another mom who came up to me and sat there and said that her daughter was cut with scissors by another student. And she was not notified until her daughter got home. And there's much, much more. And as a parent, it's really frustrating. It's getting to the point to where parents are kind of getting into that point, like, you want to send your kids to that school? Should we switch schools? Should we homeschool? And it's more than just me. There's so many parents that are too scared to come out because of the way that the world is nowadays. You feel like you're going to be judged. You feel like, because you guys might be closer.
It's not about judging.
I understand that, but that's what other parents think. A lot of the parents in the school.
You're assuming that our administrators know what's going on. Some of the teachers.
But the teachers and the principal do. That's something that I should be told right away if my daughter is being physically hurt by another student. And with certain comments that the students are saying and coming home and telling me it's scary to let my kids even go to school. I did not let my children go to school for a full week because I was scared because of some of the comments that were made towards them and everything else.
So you're advocating us calling you before we even do an investigation?
To let me know that my child got hurt. Yes. Before the investigation, before anything starts, as a parent, if my child's getting hit or hurt in any type of way, I deserve to know. I deserve to know right away. You guys might not have been like that in school, but it's a new generation. And as a parent of this generation, I want to be notified when it comes to stuff like that. I'm sure every other parent does too who has kids that are being bullied. And I'm not the only parent. It's been going on for my daughter since she was in preschool in this school. She's now in 4th grade. I've had a meeting with Mr. Saunders last year about it. Did much get resolved? Did my daughter still come home saying that this is being said to her or this is being done to her? Yes. And you guys might think that taking words is just words and kids say the most darndest things, I understand. But some of the things of being called fat, calling people the B words and telling them to eat certain parts that a child should never know, it's not okay. That stuff should be addressed by you guys to the parents when certain things are said or done. But with certain things like calling my daughter fat or calling her a pig and having people in her classroom going around going, it's embarrassing for her. It can lead for her to have depression when she gets older. It can lead for her to have anxiety to come to the school. It can lead to so many more health issues for my child and when she gets older, just because it's just words. It doesn't matter. It does to my daughter. My daughter being called names about being fat all the time and she's only in 4th grade. And her telling the teachers about it. And her getting hit. When do you think enough is enough when my child is multiply hit, smacked in the nose, pushed around, shoved, or my son? And they tell me, I told the teacher. They just sat there and said, go to the office. And they don't walk down to the office. Or if they don't get in trouble, what is that teaching my kid? Okay, in this school, it's okay to bully because we have a whole list of things that we got to do before we tell your parents. By the time your parent knows, it's going to be all blown over. That's not how it should be in any school. There are so many more statistics nowadays that are involved from bullying than you guys apparently realize, because I don't know if any of you guys have done substantial research on bullying nowadays more than an hour a month. Because I've been doing it since I knew I was coming to this board meeting 3 weeks ago. Since I was asked to come to this board meeting by another teacher. Because she also finds it ridiculous that we are not being notified. And it's a teacher from this school who feels that way. And I've said my piece. I think that it's ridiculous. And I honestly feel like if certain things are not going to be addressed soon, you guys are going to lose students quicker than anything. Because parents nowadays don't want to hear it's just words. Or ignore it, it'll go away. It does not. I have taught my daughter to ignore it, it'll go away. This is going on 5 years now. I've taught her that when they sit there and call her some name, just agree with it and walk away. So that way she has the last word. No. When it comes to getting hit, and her multiply being hit, and her telling you guys about it, and ain't not you guys about it, and nothing happening, I'm going to tell her to defend herself. And if she gets called, if I get called, she's not going to get in trouble. Because she defended herself after she tried so hard to plead in front of adults for help instead. I've said my piece, and that's what I have to say, but just keep that in mind. If this keeps going on like it is, y'all are going to lose students. Y'all are going to lose parents, and y'all are going to lose respect because you guys are already about there.
To add to what she said, I agree with everything that she said. And as far as the investigation thing goes, there was a threat for a kid to bring a gun to the school a couple weeks ago. Our kids told us about it. Now, regardless of your investigations, we should have been told that another kid was going to bring a gun into this school. He said he was going to. When I was in school, you'd never see him again. I don't know when it stopped becoming this serious.
I expect for the administration of this school to react to something which is possibly rumor, or even if it's factual. If they don't know about it, they can't react to it.
Miss Blue knew about it. She was in the gym when it happened with Elizabeth and that kid. And she told him to go down to the office, and he didn't.
Teacher here?
Yes.
Okay. So did you tell the principal or the superintendent that threat happened?
I was not in the gym.
That's not what my daughter said.
And yes, I did report that.
And how long ago was that reported? And if there was an investigation go on for something like that being said, us parents still don't know about it.
Is this a physical altercation that
He was the one who had hit my daughter, and now he's making threats. No, I'm kidding.
The threat to the school public safety, was that reported to the administration of the school?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you that.
So then you don't have a legitimate...
Well, I take that back. She just said it was. Miss Blue just said that she reported
Did
it.
you hear a threat to the school, to the Vanderbilt High School?
No.
So you heard nothing that any child saying that they were going to bring a gun to this school? Please be factual with your response.
Yeah. So a student said, I think that I heard a student say they had a gun in their backpack.
So you think you heard a student say that he thought he heard another student say that he had a gun in his backpack. Is that what I'm unclear from what I understand?
No.
Okay. I don't know. Really, you're bringing to the board now a serious problem.
Yes, I agree.
And it better be factual.
I'm 100% that it's factual.
I'm not going to tell this administration to act on it. But even if it is a rumor, this administration better take this stuff serious.
It wasn't taken seriously. The police, I can't say.
I called the police and got them involved, actually.
Can I add?
Was a report generated?
Yes.
I did
And
the report.
the police were called?
I called the
I don't want to
police.
get too deep into your...
No, there's a lot I can't say because you can't.
All right.
Don't say anything to the parents.
Can I add a little more? It was notified to the police by her, and the child never spent one day suspended from this school or removed from the public or the population of this school. Well, I would think threatening to bring a gun is a pretty serious
I think if the police
deal.
were involved and the investigation is going on, the police would, and the administration would react accordingly. I don't know what you're wanting the Board of Education to do about this.
Well, because when it gets brought up to the administration, nothing happens. I feel like
To me that the process and the procedures were followed. Right?
Not really. I'm the one who
totally disagree.
I'm the one who called the cops to have them involved, to make sure that the school did what they were supposed to do.
Let me finish talking.
I'm sorry.
I feel like if your policies and procedures were followed on that accord, then something needs to change. Because by the time it would have gotten reported to us, not from a child and from a person in this administration, the gun could have already been here. A tragedy could have already happened. by the time your procedure got it to our ears, to the parents' ears.
Okay, okay.
It's not a laughing matter, sir. This is serious.
It's not a laughing matter, but you're asking the board to set a procedure or set a policy that notifies the parents if there's a rumor of something happening.
Hell yeah.
Sir, it was not a rumor. She heard him say it. This has all been said in this meeting. She heard him say it. She reported it to Mr. Saunders. It's not a rumor. She heard it with her own ears. She heard him say it. She told Mr. Saunders. Mr. Saunders did it. Meanwhile, we have no clue as parents that there's a kid in this school threatening to bring a gun, threatening to shoot other children. This kind of stuff happens way too much around this country. And the reason for it is things like this. Because immediate action should have been taken. Not, we'll have a meeting about it and we'll have an investigation. Well, by then, a tragedy could have happened. And there's no argument to that.
So basically, what I think I'm hearing Jim say is that every time there's a threat, if we immediately panic and shut the school down and send all the kids home because there's a threat.
Never once did we say that.
That's all the time.
You've never had another full day of school.
That's not what I'm saying. But so are you telling me that every day at this school someone threatens to bring a gun?
No, but
Well, then it wouldn't be every day, sir. With all due respect, when I was in school.
Sir, you asked me a question I would like to answer.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's what's happening. I'm saying that that's probably what would happen, is that every time there's a threat, we shut the school down and send everybody home. When I can remember being 9, 10, 14, 15 years old, I didn't want to be in school. If I could shut the school down and send everybody home so I could go home and play video games or basketball or whatever, I'd call in bomb threats and everything else.
I don't think it's funny to laugh about it.
Stop.
I'd like to know more about this. If there's information, I know there's some things that we're not allowed to speak about if it concerns children at school out loud in public. I understand that. But as a board member, I'd like to know. I'd like to know that if this was a legitimate threat, I'd like to know our process. And I know you guys are saying this process is not. I've been involved. I know tasks from school shootings. So I want to know. As a school board member, I don't have children in the school, but I care, and I want to know. And it isn't taken lightly. It will not be taken lightly. And I want to know any information we can have regarding threats like this or bullying. I mean, if we have to form a committee so that we can help make sure that we have protocol. I mean, if this was a legitimate threat, or let's take away from this, if there was a legitimate threat with a child threatening to have a gun at school, are they removed?
Not if they can't control
He
it.
was not. He was not removed whatsoever.
Because
and that is my concern.
Okay, so anyhow, I would like to know those things. I would like to know what our actions are as a board or as a school in these scenarios, because I know it can get serious. And it's complicated because we can't discuss specifics.
I understand, and I understand that completely. And I'm not looking to discuss specifics, but what I'm getting at is I'm not expecting the school to shut down and to be evacuated, but at least the person that's threatening should be removed. The person that's threatening should be suspended or expelled pending your investigation. Because if you don't remove the threat while you investigate, that's how tragedies happen.
And I agree. I also know in some cases, if another kid, said, little Joey said this and he didn't, there's that aspect to it.
And
But that's not this case.
So anyhow, but that's why I said, we need that, but I promise we'll get answers. I will, anything that I got to we want to know. We want to make sure that parents feel comfortable and kids are comfortable, and this is a sorry that any of these kids have.
And to be honest, ma'am, I 100% agree with you. I went to this school as a child, and I want my children to attend this school. And I want them to graduate from here. I want that. But I don't want to have to worry every day about if someone's going to get shot in an event like this. Because, maybe it was an empty threat, but the fact of the matter is the threat was made. And if it wasn't an empty threat, if that child did happen to have a pistol, that's how school shootings happen.
That's a crime. That's more than a threat,
Yes, I agree.
So my concern as a parent is that I do have an autistic 6-year-old little boy. So me just hearing about this now makes me very angry. I entrust you guys with my child, and I should at least, I know that you guys don't need to let me know the day that it happens that there is a threat. But I should be notified at least in that week that there was a threat in this school, because I am entrusting my child here with you guys. And also, I know for a fact that this process is not being followed because my son, not until I realized that there was bullying going on in the school, I sat him down to see if he was being bullied, and he had to let me know that he was picked up and thrown, and there was a teacher there that told that kid to go to the office. So it was seen by a teacher, and then that next day I come into the office to talk to Mr. Sanders, and he knew nothing about it. So these protocols are not being followed with the teachers letting him know that these situations are happening with the children. So in my eyes, I think that there should be a little bit more communication with the teachers actually telling the principal that this stuff is happening, because he had no clue that my child was picked up and thrown.
Do we have any hall monitors or anything in the school?
Teachers are asked to be out in the hallway between classes. I'm usually out in the hallways.
Sounds like it's something that needs to be more educated. The kids need to be more involved and more educated about bullying and threats and accountability for doing those kinds of things. And you might need a couple tattletales students that you could entrust to take names.
I could definitely do that. Discovered in NFTs.
I think it's honestly, in my opinion, from my understanding, from what my son has told me, there is one child specifically that this is happening from, so much so that my son has never been told the word bully, and according to him, everybody in school associates this child with a bully. So that is my belief behind it. I don't know too much behind it because my son, like I said, is autistic and he comes home and he sees the joy in school and sees the fun, and he doesn't always tell me the bad things that happen. I have to dig a little bit more in depth with him to find these things out. And I don't really talk to any of the other parents in the school because I'm new to this school. So, but I do really want more communication, especially on the aspect of me knowing that this stuff is happening with my child. Because, God forbid, he could have hit his head and had a concussion, and I didn't even know he was thrown.
The ones that weren't here, probably, around 3 or 4 years ago, you were ignoring some of the bullying and that you lost 12 or more students to Wolverine. Because parents got tired of it, nothing being done, and the threat was real. They went to Wolverine and lost students. Remember that deal?
Yeah. That was a matter of, I think that was a total matter of weakness on the principal's part.
Oh, no, I agree.
It was a point where the principal said, well, I don't want to say anything about this because they'll pick up and take the kid out. What he didn't stop to consider was that, okay, we're going to keep that kid in here in our population, but we're losing 4 kids because, right. So
We lost 12 within a couple of weeks.
and I certainly don't see that with our current administration being afraid to discipline the child for fear of losing a number. That camera, right?
child has to remove. Does somebody come, can they pay somebody from the office and say, can you please, so that the teacher doesn't have to leave the classroom, so somebody can come down, so they're not,
My comment is nothing has